I've reached the pinnacle of my career. I just feel that I don't have anything else for myself to prove. And the desire was not there.
From North Carolina, number 45, Michael Jordan.
Number 6, Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it?
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What the f*** is he talking about?
Yo, what is good? You know who it is, you know what it is. It's me, Mario, and welcome to the Appraise, the phrase show, origins of everyday expressions. We're here to do three things: unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of common everyday phrases. Oh man, we're wrapping up things while things are moving forward. It's the cycle of life. I'm happy today. Primark just opened out here, so I'm geeked. They are a Super Mario supplier, you know what I mean? So I get with that. 20's in the building, of course. 20 was good, brother.
Everything, man. Everything's good, man. It just depends on how you look at it.
How do you look at it?
Well, I see it as everything is doing what it's supposed to do.
Excellent.
Yes,
excellent. That's what's up, man. Anything new going on with you?
No, man. You know, this is the later of the year, so this is the busiest time for me when it comes to like work and family. And you know, I'm built for it though. It's pretty much my personal life season. You know, I got my daughter's birthday coming up soon. Well, I'm sorry, my son's birthday coming up soon. By the time this is going to be on, my daughter probably already had her birthday. But
correct.
Like we you know, we got a couple of things, and then we got the major holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas coming up. So, you know, it's about to get a little bit busy for me. That's all.
Hectic. And you know I'll be breathing down your neck to make sure that amongst that busyness that you have a little pressure added as well.
Yeah. We got some big things coming up for ATP, man. I'm excited.
Word. All right. With no further ado, let's get into the show today. I am, you can have guessed it probably, excited. Mario's always excited. This time, I'm excited because we have a phenomenal guest today, a renowned guest today, a fun guest today. So I'm not going to hold us up from Chicago. We have author, activist, and cultural critic Mikki Kendall in the building. Ooh, Mikki, it was good. They're going to be loud for you. They're going to be loud. How you feeling today?
I'm good. It was a little hectic of a morning, but it's okay now. It's okay.
Good. Do you want to expound on the hecticity or you want to?
It would just be me ranting about raising old people. That's what it would be. That's all it would be. I'm not even going to hold you. Nobody tells you that for those of you who are only children with multiple elders that you are responsible for, you will understand what I say when I tell you that getting old should involve somebody else taking care of you besides the people you raised. That's
I'm with that. That PSA announcement and warning.
Yeah, exactly. All in one. Hey, but Mario, man, that crowd got a little loud, man. They must know Mikki out here in these streets, man.
They know Mikki. Mikki,
they must have read one of her books or something.
It's shaking in here. It's shaking
in the building. What's going on, Mikki? I was like, oh, okay. They know who we got on today. Okay.
Yeah, tell us more. Tell us more. Tell the folks that may not be in the stadium rocking more about what you do and anything you want to prop up right now.
So I am Mikki Kendall, author of a book called Hood Feminism. You might have heard of it. It's been a little time on the New York Times bestseller list. It's in God knows what printing now, available in 6 languages and more than 150 countries.
Yeah.
I also
Hey.
wrote a graphic nonfiction that's available in your kid's school every year for Women's History Month called Amazon's Abolitionists and Activists, a
Nice.
graphic history of women's fight for their rights from 4000 BC to the near future. I also sometimes show up in your newspapers, on your television, and on Twitter, knocking everything over, and even on TikTok.
Hey, knocking everything.
I like that.
I love it. I love it.
I like that.
They do too.
Hey, listen. That hood feminism must have been in these streets. That's what it is.
You know it.
Shout out to the women of the world.
Yes, ma'am.
Both
Yes, ma'am.
figuratively and literally. My girls held me down with that book. It came
Yes,
out
ma'am.
right after COVID.
I was just going to say around COVID time, right? Yeah.
Yes, it came out February 25th of 2020. We shut down sort of in America, I think March like 15th, 10th, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this book is dead. And my girls were like, no, we're just going to read it while we're in the house.
Exactly, because you had to sit your ass down during COVID, so you need to do
So
something.
read some good.
So I guess that was perfect timing, if you would say. Because everybody had to sit their ass down during COVID.
And that was the thing, the people who sat down during COVID. And I know there's a lot of dispute over it, whatever, but I'm just going to say, if you're a COVID denier, I'm not your cup of tea, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We saw people die. And we have seen this historically. Outbreaks happen of various diseases. Monkeypox is now apparently going to be the next thing. I don't even know what to do with that one. And all you can do sometimes is take your ass in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Go sit. Just go sit. Exactly.
And that's when Mikki came in.
And that's what. Hey, you know what?
Me, lots of writers.
Oh yeah, no, but they ain't here, Mikki. They ain't here. We don't do that. They ain't here. You can stay humble. You can stay.
Yeah, humility has its place.
We give
humility has its place. Not right now. But no, this is great because I was thinking that you dropped something that hit the feminist community. I mean, culturally across the board, I think it was a perfect timing and appropriate during a time where that voice, I don't want to say missing, but is needed. But then during a time where we felt like you were missing out on something or that you were absent from something. So I thought today's phrase, we could lean on that thought, that essence a little bit. And so today we're going to unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of absence makes the heart grow fonder.
And in 8 parts, I'll explain that phrase.
All right. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. All right. So before we get into the definitions and all that, let's talk about our connection to it, how we feel about it. 20, you can set us off. Actually, I'll start.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll start. Yeah. I don't even, usually when I start, it's like visceral.
Yeah.
I'm not there today. I'm not there today because earlier on the season, we had Time Heals All Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And this is similar to me where I'm like, for you to have a phrase that is almost a prescription to relief, to help, to betterment, you gotta bat. You know what bats 1,000. You know who bats 1,000, but you got to be close when you're telling people that they're going to be better off for doing the thing, right? So like if you're going to feel closer to someone, if they're away, to test that, you got to almost make sure that it's right. So I'm interested in that because my experience with that is yeah, if and no, because. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'll give it to 20, but first.
And that's all I have to say about that.
20.
All right. You know what? With that, when it comes to the absence make the heart grow fonder, like I've heard it before. It's not something that I am, new to, but I would say this. It's a situation of sometimes that's not 100% true. Like if your definition by grow fonder could be you'll forget about it, or it will just I won't say infest, but it's more of a situation where it's like, if this is something that you truly, truly desire and you don't have it, sometimes that can be bad for it because that's all you're thinking about. Yeah. Instead of moving on with your life, or in a situation of, trying to find something else that fills that void, I feel like in a sense of, absence, nowadays, you get forgettable. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be relevant for someone to say, you know what, that still matters in my life, because everything is changing, everything is moving, everything is different every day. You get what I mean? Like, look at your relationship rate right now. If you're not constantly improving, if you're not constantly growing, if you're not constantly keeping someone or something excited, then culture right now is like, okay, cancel. All right, cancel. Forget about it. I'll move on to the next thing. Next man up. Those things right there kind of like died that down. Now, before, when I heard it as a young child and things like that, I felt like it was more of a remedy for something that you missed. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make you feel better by saying this saying, because right now you don't feel as if, you can go on, or you don't feel like things are right because something is missing.
Heard that. I'm with that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
All right. We'll get more about it. Mikki, how you feeling? What's your connection?
So for me, absence is a test. If you being gone, I don't miss you, you never need to come back. You'll never need to come back. Full disclosure, I've been married twice. Okay. At the end of my first marriage, towards the end of it, someone said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe the two of you just need a separation. We did. It needed to be permanent. It needed to be the rest of my life. Yeah. Don't miss nothing. Not a breath, not a hair, nothing.
Ain't no fonder there.
No fonder.
No fonder.
Don't feel nothing. It was amazing. I felt free. I felt like if somebody opened the cage door. Now, I got married again. Also, full disclosure, I am a big believer that the best way to get over someone is to get under something else. So,
you might have a lot of people that agree. As a water sign Scorpio man, I'm
a Scorpio woman. You understand? I'm a Scorpio woman, right? Mm-hmm.
Man, y'all Scorpios, man. Y'all Scorpios. Go ahead, Mikki. That's a totally another show. That's a different show. That's a different show.
But so while I was divorcing my ex-husband, I met my current husband. And that was back in 2001. And we've been together since 2001. We're 23 years in. Okay? I would miss him. He's not allowed to go nowhere. But it does make me think when I hear that it really depends, right? If you were irrelevant or unimportant or a problem, you leaving is not going to make me like you more.
Exactly.
Right? We've all had jobs where we were like, okay, I'm going to take a vacation. And sometimes you go on that vacation and you come back ready to work. And sometimes you come on back from that vacation and you put in 375 applications somewhere else. That's my thought. Absence is a test.
And that's all I have to say about that.
I love it. What's up, 20?
I totally agree with that. It's just like, what is your definition of fonder? You get what I'm saying? And what is my heart leaning towards? Like, if it makes me more fonder to being alone, then yeah. If it makes me more fonder to you, then yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's different. It's like different ways you could kind of approach that, and that's why it's like the definite phrases, the ones that are definite, are always going to stand on top of the ones that are just like, all right, let me just go ahead and put this, and it's to your perspective. It's to your
exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And I feel like this one falls under that realm of gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because it's hardly that I'm wrong about it, because it's so many options and so many ways it can go.
I agree. Let's expound there. First, let's ground ourselves in what it's defined as, so that we can see, like, does that definition actually ring true? How much of the definition is willing to stand on itself? So we got a few. We went with 2, not 3 this time. We got Cambridge Dictionary, one of my favorites, and they say that absence makes the heart grow fonder is defined as when people we love are not with us, we love them even more. So they're like saying like you have to love the person. And
it's already love there.
Is implied.
It's already love there. Yeah. Okay.
And then dictionary.com, which is very consistent with having definitions for these phrases, says that is defined as persons, places, or things become dearer to us when they are absent. So they're not adding any caveats. They're not adding any types of adjective. They are just saying that a person, place, or thing becomes dearer to us when they're absent. Reverse order between those definitions, Mikki, which one do you what do you notice as differences? Which one do you connect with more? Which one are you like, I like that one better?
For me, it's the first one. I always feel like we need a little bit more flexibility in the way we use language, right? So this is a real writer soapbox moment. Right. But words can mean things and phrases can mean things based on how you say it, right? Based on how you can manipulate the way that you convey through body language and tone what you mean. Because someone can say to you, well, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And they could be hinting that you need to go upside somebody's head with a baseball bat. Or they can be like, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe you all just need a break kind of tone, right? It can go two different ways. I have a friend, we have a running what we call the beautiful widow joke, where when we say certain things, which are canned phrases, right? Mm-hmm. The way we say them is based off of our Jessica Fletcher metric. And our Jessica Fletcher metric is, if you've ever watched Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Fletcher is the most prolific serial killer in TV history. She kills people. Even though they say that she's solving the murders, we're like, hey, the guy that was rude to Jessica at the beginning of this episode is the guy that dies. Her nephew, her friend, their friend, whoever is the first suspect, they might go to 2 or 3 suspects, and that other person who was also rude and a little off to Jessica. Now they have been framed for murder because we don't believe Jessica finds dead bodies everywhere she goes by accident, right? And I feel like that about language. Like, you can mean what you say, or you can mean anything when you speak, and the way that you convey it makes a difference.
Wow.
I'm with that, and I've
never heard that conspiracy theory about Murder, She Wrote.
That was great. And I know somewhere on Reddit, they like, yes, and we have even more proof. Yes. 20. Where you at with the definitions, man? The differences, which one you rocking with more?
Listen, I feel like number one has to be more in tune with society. Like, yes, at one point in time, I'm gonna just go back at number 2 to strengthen why I think number 1 is a little bit better. When it says person, place, or thing, and it's not putting those feelings of love inside of it, then it's like, if it's more, I feel like that's more of a convenience. And once you get over that convenience and just realize like that convenience is not there anymore, then it changes. It changes from being something that, man, I miss, or man, I want in my life, to, like I said, how else can I find another convenience or replace that with another convenience? Now, when you talk about love, huge advocate of love. I feel like that's the most powerful thing in the world. And if you want to stay true to that definition, it's really hard to replace something that you love. You know what I'm saying? Now I would say the process of missing it, or the process of wanting it in your life, is a little bit longer. So I'm assuming that length right there is what they're saying, that's the absence of it. Mm-hmm. But when you love something, you don't have it anymore. You just learn to live without it. And I feel like that's where it comes to a point where it's like, okay, well, my heart isn't more fonder of it because I've learned to live without it.
Right.
And there's certain situations in life that might remind me of it, obviously, and that might put me in a spot here and there. But, I've learned to live without that thing that I'm missing.
Heard that.
I feel like that's like that time span where we're trying to say, like, if you say time heals all wounds. Okay.
How healed? How much time? Yeah, exactly.
How healed? How much time?
Exactly. No, I'm with you. I think, the way people try to put it on others, Cambridge nailed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the most consistent way people try to put it on others. I think that when people stand on it, though, and I usually don't do this, but I'm actually going to sit in the middle. When people try to stand on it, like enforce absence makes the heart grow fonder on you, and they're not really saying it because they care for you or have any connection to the receiver of this phrase, the person they're saying it to, they just think that like anything, any old thing that you ever had,
Right.
you're supposed to actually, like, almost like shame on you for it not being dear to you unless it was harmful to you. Like they the only caveat usually comes out with like, unless it was harmful to you, you should miss it when it's gone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dog.
Well, and harmful is such an, I've had someone say that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And harmful is such a nebulous term, right? Because what you perceive to be harmful may not be what I perceive to be harmful.
Right.
I was having this conversation with someone, and we were talking about relationships and divorce. I've tweeted about this before. A friend whose husband asked for an open marriage, and then he had a girlfriend, and then when she met someone else, he didn't want this open marriage anymore, but now it's too late. And part of the argument was like, oh, well, he wasn't abusive or whatever. And I'm like, he didn't need to be abusive to be not who she wants to be with anymore, right? Like, our standard doesn't have to be beating on you or cheating on you, although technically I think that's what was happening. Our standard can be, you're not nice to me, and I'm not going to stick around for the worst, right? When we talk about abusive relationships or whatever, and people say, well, why did she stay? Well, sometimes the red flag is this big, but if you leave at this red flag, you never have to see the other ones.
Real. And that's where I'm like, the way other people want to make you feel about this phrase is like they actually take the love out of it. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like they take the love out of it when Cambridge is like, yeah, you should probably only use this for stuff you love. All right, man. Let's get into the origin, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into the origin.
Where'd that come from?
Okay, I'm actually going to bring the iPad closer so I can tell us ourselves, and the listeners and viewers, that this phrase actually started out in 1650. We're going to go back to the 17th century. In Epistole ho Elane of Familiar Letters, from the English writer James Howell, first mentioned the essence of this, of absence makes the heart grow fonder. And in that, he said, distance sometimes endears friendship, and absence sweeteneth it. So the Epistole ho Eliane, or Familiar Letters is what it translates to, is a literary work. And James Howell wrote it when he was in the Fleet prison during the 1640s. And then it like reflects how he went back and forth between London on behalf of London's glass factory, which was a very important trade at the time. And it suggested that some of the letters were fictional during that time. So this could be something that he experienced and wrote, or it could be something that he wanted to experience and wrote. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the difference between like distance and absence here, and what qualifies one as distance and what qualifies absence. Because I think you started to hint at that, Tony. Like, what is that? What is absence? And if you feel like it, let's scaffold both the loving a thing and just a thing when it comes to like distance and absence. And I'll toss it to Mikki.
I think for me, absence indicates belonging in the first place, right? You can know a person and you enjoy seeing them when you see them, but they don't belong to you in that sense that like you want to talk to them regularly or weekly or whatever, right? It's acquaintance level. Someone is in your life, whether that is the actual nature of the relationship or not. And we've been talking about people, but it could be anything, right? There are people for whom, at least for me, now this is the most Scorpio black girl from Chicago thing I am about to say. I just want to preface this by saying it. I can have met you 16 times. We can be perfectly cordial. And I'm not thinking about you the second you are no longer in front of me. right? And then there are people who are my people, right?
Yeah.
And I have this thing I say, no new people to my friends. I have friends who want to bring me new people all the time. Oh, you should meet so-and-so. And sometimes I have to be gently like, I'm not going to care about them. And that's going to hurt their feelings. So we should bring that in, friend. We should bring it in. Because I am slow to warm up. It can take me 2+ years to decide I like you. And if you are someone who needs to be liked immediately, you should never meet me in person for your own emotional stability. Mm-hmm. Right?
Protecting you.
This is for your own good, because I will tell you, well, we're not friends, so I don't know what you want from me. Yeah. And I say all of that to say this. It's not that I'm trying to be mean. I just know how I am. I can know you and never miss you. Or you can be very important to me and I care about where you're going. Are you okay? Do I need to come down there? Kind of a thing, right? It's kind of like the auntie conversation. Mm-hmm. People think when I say don't call me auntie, it's because I'm offended about my age. Baby, I'm about to be 48. I'm not offended about you knowing I'm 48. I say that because the people who can legitimately call me auntie can also call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like they have my home number. Right. They can call me. They can text me. I will get up out my bed and come see about you. If you are not on that list, we don't have that kind of relationship, and I don't want you to have the wrong idea, right? And I feel like people often, in the absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of dynamic, feel like I know you, so we have a relationship, right? It's a parasocial relationship that we see on the internet, but it's also sometimes in real life, unfortunately, right? Mm-hmm. You all know a guy, he has a friend with benefits, and then it goes kaboom, right? And on the one side of that, she's like, we were hanging out all the time and we were eating dinner and then we were doing what we do. And I thought this was going somewhere. And on the other side, he's saying, I told her from jump what it was, right? It's that kind of dynamic sometimes friends with benefits, sometimes just in general. Some people you are in absence because I care about you, because you are someone who is important to this person. Sometimes you just left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm with that. I like that. I'm going to jump in 20 real quick, and then I'm going to toss it to you because I can use you as an example, especially riffing off of what Mikki just said, where it's like, I mean, we run into many, many people, dog. Like in what we do, we run into many, many people. Cool people. Like, love what you do, love what you stand for, love how you talk, legit like people. And I'll be like, man, good thing Gmail reminds me of the email. Because I want, you know what I'm saying? Whereas you, dog, like using the what's his name? James Howell's version of the phrase as it started, it's like distance for our friendship. It does endear it in ways like maybe we would get sick of each other if we were closer. But like when it feels like I'm absent from your friendship, I'm like, damn, like that is a friend of mine. As opposed to like I could talk to 50 people via email or the same 3 people, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of work, 9 times in one day. But like, if we go 2 days where we didn't check in, like that absence sweetens our friendship where our distance is like, all right, I'm endeared to this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, whereas like, like coworkers or acquaintances, like I'm dapping up the I don't go to Subway, but if I was to go to Subway, I would dap up the Subway person with sanitary. Mm-hmm. You know, but I won't look down at your badge, actually. Sometimes. When I'm in a restaurant, I definitely will. But you know what I'm saying? So that's where I see it as, man. You got anything, bro?
Oh, no, I think both of you guys covered it for me, too, as well. It's like I'm a social person, but I'm not a friendly person. And Mario knows that. You could put me in a room and I'll hold my own and everybody will come out like, okay, yeah, you know. But ask me a week later, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I mean? And it's just like, damn, I gave you that impression, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even on fake shit. It's not even on any fake shit. It's just a situation where it's like, I'm with it. Like I have the people that I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for, and I got those people that,
what makes you like you can hit me up at 3 o'clock? I actually have that question. Like, what have I done? Not in a victim blaming sense, but almost where I'm like, what have I done to make you think you can hit me up at 3 in the morning? Like, I'm not gonna bring this energy to you. I'm not gonna project it at you. But if you do it twice, after I don't respond, or I respond at an appropriate hour.
Right.
If you aren't understanding that, then we can talk.
Yeah. You know and I think, just to add on, I think sometimes the parasocial relationships people can have with you, you don't wish them any ill, you don't wish them any harm, but you also don't really know them.
I don't wish you.
The internet makes people feel like they know people they don't really know, right? We've developed this thing of like the friends list. That is somebody you think is funny or insightful or whatever, but that is not actually your friend unless you all talk to each other outside of exchanging tweets or memes or whatever. Not to say you can't make friends online. People do all the time. I certainly have. But not everyone that I know is going to be my friend.
Correct.
And if you don't talk to them, it's not a situation of, oh man, I got to hit this person up.
Right.
Or I got to tweet to this person, or I got to, at this person to see, making sure, you know what I mean? It's just one of those situations where, how much absence and how fond are you trying to really become?
Yeah, how are you trying to get? And I'll put it this way, and I know like everything, we grow into, some are instant clicks, and that's I weigh that a lot. But like the things that matriculate, of course. But my line is when I tell my friends or other people when I'm talking about someone that is not my friend that I'm speaking highly of or whatever, but they want me to do something that's a little bit on the other side of things. I say, hey man, they're not my friend because they don't rely on me and I don't rely on them for anything of impact. And if that is a very easy filter for me, like I will not call them for highly enjoyable things, and I won't call them when I need something really bad, then they're not my friend. You know what I'm saying? They can fit in any other positive category. It's just not friend. So
right. It's okay to like people without necessarily them being your people.
And I encourage it. Like, don't gather everyone that you think is cool. Don't try to collect every card. Like,
so all in all absence don't equal to.
Hey, we getting there.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. Has it been a situation where people are saying that to become more absent? Like say if
That's what I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, like if you have that relationship with someone and they're like, well, I need a break or something like that. And it's like, how they say absence makes the heart grow fonder because they're asking for more absence.
So here's my take on that. And then Mikki, you can go because I'm going to be very succinct here. I don't do breaks. I don't do breaks. And how do I put this? Circumstance does enough work for me. I don't need to force. Like circumstance does the job. I don't need forced struggle. I don't need created struggle. I don't need created missing. Circumstance will do the job. You know what I'm saying? So if it is creating more space, manufactured or intentional, I would want to find a hobby, not like actually saying like we just need to be in other rooms and we don't have nothing to do. Like create something for that, and I'm out.
My thing is, there's that saying: if you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, it's meant to be. And I've always.
I thought you were gonna say, "Now you know." My bad. I thought you was gonna rhyme with that, Mikki. My bad.
Right, and that, but that's the case, and now you know, right? And my thing is, if we can't grow together, which is fine, probably aren't going to grow together at all, right? My husband and I can be in the same house, sometimes in the same room, and we're like parallel play, right? Like I'm doing something, he's doing something, we're in the same room. We can sit in the quiet together. I've never felt like I can't even like be around you. I need that absence, right? Because I don't really do the break thing either. I will break up with you. I will absolutely we can wrap this up. This is right. Again, I'm a black girl from the south side of Chicago. If you ever date one of us, we will
100% transparency. 100% transparency.
We will fire you. We will be like, this ain't it. And there's another one down the street, right? Because
oh my God,
of us that are raised with the narrative that men are like buses, relationships are like buses. There will be another option in 15 minutes. Okay?
But you said it.
And I always think when people said, if you love something, let it go. Hold on, why are you trapping anybody? Like, why aren't you trying to encourage them to do whatever they want to do, right? When I first started writing professionally, I would do these radio shows and stuff. And one of the radio shows I went on, the host asked my husband happened to be with me today. He says, I don't know how you deal with it, because she's like always out here. She's always going. And my husband looked at him. And my husband I have a thing about burly, bearded black men of a certain type, right? All of you have the same facial expression when you're like, do I have to hit you? Like, do I have to kill you?
Yeah, like, why did you say that to me? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He got the face. And I didn't hear what the guy said, but I saw the face and was like, what is happening? And so when we talked about it later, he said, he acted like I didn't want you to be happy. What the hell was that? What's wrong with him? And I didn't have an answer because I am not married to someone who is bitch made. I am not married to someone who is jealous or shallow or insecure. So I don't know how to explain to him that there are people for whom their partner's success is a threat.
Crazy. Crazy.
Right? He was like, oh, so books. We're doing books. Okay. Well, I'm going to go to work and you write, and I'm going to go do the thing to make sure we can pay the bills while you do your thing. Great.
Right. Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna move us along a little bit here. Let's go 1831, because I think we're going where the phrase. How I think we're showing in real time how the phrase got to where it got. So the actual verbiage, "absent makes the heart grow fonder," was built into a song called "The Isle of Beauty" by Thomas Haynes Bailey, inspired by James Howell's work. And it actually appears in the New York Mirror, and it was in June 4th, 1831. So that's when, because of this song, he was a British songwriter. He was married into Irish money, so he was very, very rich, very prominent, was able to get the song across lots of pathways, lots of platforms. And the Isle of Beauty was about this island that everyone loved. I was going to cue up the song, but I played it earlier today. And it's so, like, because it's like, it reminds me of white gospel, I could not play it, because it's white gospel is my least favorite genre. So I decided to spare myself. So that's
I just want to let you guys know we do not hate white gospel.
We don't hate it.
I'm going to tell you, there is no such thing as white gospel music.
Come on, Mickey. We I told you before.
There's white rock and white Christian rap. And I'm using rap very loosely there, and rock loosely.
Quotations.
But it is really like folk songs sped up.
Right. Yeah. It's like folk pace. I'm like, this is folk. It's actually scaring me.
This is actually scaring me right now.
You're scaring the Christians. Yeah.
There's no way you talk like this in church. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way in praising our God that you did this.
There's no way.
I'm just going to remind you that we don't know exactly where white Jesus comes from, but perhaps wherever he comes from that has nothing to do with the description in the Bible, that's it. I don't know what God that is. I don't know whose child that is, because the Bible said something different.
Something else.
Skin the color of bronze, hair like lamb's wool, does not look like a white boy.
What's his name? Jared Leto? Ain't that him? He don't look like Jared Leto.
Like his name is Bubba Joe.
Exactly.
Bubba Joe ain't
Africa. He was from the Mediterranean.
Exactly.
Instead of Africa, he's from the Mediterranean, baby.
He's not even from the Mediterranean. They look darker than that down there. That boy looked like he came out of the mountains of Caucasus. That's not it.
Excellent. Well, once "Absence Makes the Heart Grow Fonder" hit with this song, then absence as a way to, or using absence as a way to describe longing and desire and passion became popular. So my man Rofer de Bussy Reputin wrote, "Absence is to love what wind is to fire. It puts out the little, it kindles the great." So now, commonly known as Bussy Reputin, he was a French memoirist. So he wrote memoirs for a living. He himself tells us that his two ambitions were to become honnête homme and to distinguish himself in arms. So he wanted to be popular and armed. Like he wanted to be like.
Who is this? Boosie the Badass?
Basically. The French version of Boosie.
Boosie got everything from.
This is where Boosie got everything from. Now remember that I got to tell you what a home is. It means a respectable man and a gentleman, a man of breeding and taste. A man of breeding and taste. So remember, he wants to be popular, very well armed, and considered a gentleman.
What's the word? What's that word?
It's honet home.
So he's.
You think that's where people call each other homie come from? You know me.
It could be.
I am a devil's advocate kind of guy. That's my.
It could be devil's advocate season 1. Real job.
I love that.
Now let's remember
that also though sounds like you're describing a category of black men found in Detroit, St. Louis, and Memphis. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying, Mickey. Hey, listen. Everything has a beginning. Everything has a beginning, brother.
Look.
It might be where we get the phrase "my homie" from. It sounds like a homie to me. That kind of person that you described sounds like could be one of my homies. If I was enthusiastic.
Now, I think it's true. I'm willing to stand on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Boosie, he married his cousin. And for a short time, he married his cousin. And then he left the army and he succeeded his father's position in the Nirvanas and served under Conde and Cotilana. While he was doing this, that doesn't matter the names. While he was doing this, his wife cousin died. And then he became more notorious than ever because he tried to, once his wife died, his cousin wife, this gentleman of arms, again, and a man of breeding and taste, he became more notorious after he tried to abduct Madame de Mermion, who was a rich widow. She had lost her man. And then he fell into disgrace for having taken part in an orgy near Paris during Holy Week.
See, I thought he was a homie, but it don't sound like it.
I don't know. We do all have that one uncle with the friend.
The friend, is he coming? Is he coming?
Mostly his time is Jim coming.
Is Jim coming?
Right, and that first of all, that friend always has a little man purse with a gun inside.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Mickey.
Dogs. I don't know why he breeds dogs, but he breeds dogs.
Now, he was eventually exiled, just like we need to do the uncle. So I have two questions for you now that you've went through the journey with me, because you did prop up Boosie, because he sold it. I want to be a homie. And then he ended up being the horniest man alive and being exiled from his country. First of all, I would like to say, and I want y'all to know, answer, how cold is his version, which is absence is to love, what wind is to fire, it puts out the little, it kindles the great. Are y'all fucking with that?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie. To not support Boosie, the first, that's a fire ass bar. I ain't gonna lie, that was a fire ass bar. I'm not trying to support Boosie the first because I feel like you took me on a roller coaster, like some of our black heroes now. You took me on a roller coaster, and then now you let me down.
You're a terrible person.
Do I still stand by this roller coaster ride on the way down?
Now, Mickey, I have to ask you, how do you now feel about Absence Makes the Heart Grow Fonder as it's attached to this man in ways that one of the key contributors of Absence being one of those things comes from a horny soldier writer who was exiled from his city from being extremely horny?
That actually doesn't change my opinion because I've met a lot of writers. Trying to figure out what to phrase this. There's a significant portion of the writer population engaged in the kind of polyamorous shenanigans that would make him look like junior level. Listen, I have been to conventions where there was the orgy room, the room where the orgy happened every year, and that orgy went on all day. You could go in the orgy room, orgy, and leave, and go about your day. Writers
go back to the orgy room,
or you can orgy now, take a break, and orgy later.
Yes. Writers have not improved in their limitations.
Because if you leave the orgy, absence will.
Make your heart fall. I'm gonna have to write that down. Hey, listen, bro.
I'm gonna give Boosie his space to make mistakes. I'm gonna give
that
him
was actually grace for Boosie.
That's all the grace for Boosie. That's all the grace for Boosie.
Praise. It's only because I know the dirt. It's only because I know
exactly. You got to be in the know to
right.
give Boosie the grace.
Right. And it sounds like most people were consenting. I don't know what was going on with him and the widow. If that was actually kidnapping, or if that was just a story they told after the fact to keep her head attached to her shoulders.
True, because he was not exiled for the attempted abduction. He was only exiled for coming into the orgy.
Well, he was exiled
on Holy Week.
During Holy Week. If he had the orgy,
it was exactly, and it was at just the time where. Can't you wait till next week?
Because you know that's what they did, Mario. They went to Boosie and was like, "Hey, Boosie, hey, Playboy, listen. You know it's during Holy Week.
You know it's
gonna give a holy man. Look at my eyes. Do look like I give a holy goddamn what the hell? Bro, listen. Hey, listen. It's been a while since I had this, man. It's been a while, man. The absence made my heart fonder for this.
Yeah.
Boosie was definitely from Detroit.
Oh yeah.
They're putting them on the east side though, not west side. All right.
That's not gonna help you. I'm hold on. I'm from Chicago, so I got cousins at both ends of the run and all the way down to Louisiana. Nobody is worth it. Damn. On the whole track, nobody is worth a damn the whole way up.
Damn.
Listen, not he's saying he ain't from the west side. Well, all the shit that he did, your comment was
I can't denounce, dog.
That's let me.
That's some east
I'm
side.
gonna insert a Tyler Perry description here.
Oh shit!
Not saying you're gonna love it, but one of the plays at some point, a character is called a country pimp, and that's essentially what we're discussing here. I mean, he a pimp, but he ain't from this side of town. He country. He from over there. That's not how we. It's not how.
He's not the city's pimp who we are endeared to. He's
not a community pimp that gives back to. Nah, you know what? Let me stop on this. Let me be aggressive.
Okay, so actually, it's funny. It's funny because we're here. There's actually been that data in anthropological. There we go. Work done about this because people really care. People really care to know what's going on in the human psyche. So anthropologists have long noted that many primates invest more effort in relationships after individuals have been forced apart. So after we've made them, separate, they've invested more in that relationship. For example, baboon mothers spend significant time feeding their young and so have little left for the social task of grooming other adult baboons or growing baboons. But when the young ones are weaning and the mothers have more time on their hands, they invest even more time than usual in grooming in an attempt to repair any social relationship they have begun to weaken because they were weaning the baby. So anthropologists started to say, okay, they are actually trying to respond to that absence, that endearing feeling.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. So and then they said the same pattern, the behavior pattern between individuals who have been apart can be observed in other animals as well, including elephants and hyenas. But when the young ones, are weaning, let me see. Oh yeah. So the same pattern of behavior in individuals who have been apart have been observed in another animal called a bonobos, which is like a marsupial type. And this led us, because of the information age, to use data from mobile phone usage to study the patterns of absence between humans. So there's empirical evidence about all kinds of human activity between travel, wealth distribution, and mating patterns. And they have mined that there's evidence that absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that they've analyzed a large set of data from 2007, especially in the European countries, for 7 consecutive months. How are people acting? So let me open this and see where we at with it.
But you know what, Mario? I think that always goes back to why you're looking that up. It always goes back to how much time, how much absence, what are you being absent from? Like, obviously, as a child, only knowing, as an infant or a newborn, only knowing the warmth of your mother, you're going to be absent. If she's gone, if you're winning the child away from the mother, then that's all they know.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, that becomes a little bit more relevant when that's all you know. But I feel like as an adult, you learn how to be absent and be non-present in certain people's lives. You know how to be without certain things. You learn how to do that. So it's like, it's hard to say, yeah, absence makes the heart, all absence. And you know what, honestly, they're not even saying that, but when you're just putting the words as is, the phrase leans more towards definite absence, definite fonder, definite is going to make you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. Any absence, yeah.
Exactly, bro. So it's like, yes, I get it, but if I'm reading it face value, you can't. It's not 100% true. It's not 100% true, and it's like it's hard to stand on something that's not 100% true.
True. Now, here's some science behind it. That is what the anthropologist at, let me make sure I cite the university, Aalto University in Finland, did this 7-month study with the hypothesis that the strength of relationship is reflected in the number and duration of calls between individuals, which we can say or not say. The question is they attempt to answer are whether people invest more time in relationships that matter when these relationships are at risk. So they're also equating absence as risk of losing, right? So we have to like create that trail. So friendships require constant time investment for their maintenance, and failure to match quite specific investment schedules leads to rapid reduction in relationship quality. That's what they believe in Finland.
And that goes back to what Mikki was saying in the beginning.
Yeah,
that goes right back to that, what she was saying in the beginning, as opposed to like, okay, what type of relationship do we have?
Exactly. So what they found was that they found a clear increase in the duration of calls between people when the time since the last call was greater than average. So basically, people spend more time catching up when they have been out of contact for longer. And the findings demonstrate an increase in call duration with an increase in intercall gap between the pair of individuals. So they're using this as data. I'm like, I get it. What I ended up doing with data, because I'm in that world day to day, is like the leaning that they are saying is fondness could literally just be information exchange. That's like I would equate some of it to that. Like if you've gone longer without talking to someone, you have more to catch up on, in a sense, as opposed to I need to talk to you longer to reestablish our connection. Right. Now, some would say, which I'm going to ask this question to you both, some would say tomato in the sense that the desire to get that information and not just say, how you doing? Okay, cool. Moving on is, you know what I'm saying? Like, is the care, the tenderness. So y'all tell me, where do you sit with the study? Do you think that it's more proof that absence is final, or do you think it has some gaps? Mikki, we'll start with you.
I think we're back to whether or not someone's important in the first place. Whether or not this was ever important to you. If you were to look at like kids who are raised by their parents, right? And when mom and dad are away, they get upset. They're very well attached. They have been cared for by those parents. Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder. But if you look at kids who have been abandoned, whether effectively abandoned because of neglect or actually abandoned,
right?
Sure, in the beginning, absence may make the heart grow fonder, but if you're gone long enough, all that's left is rage. What you coming back to is something hot, right? And we've seen this, and not to pull her into this, but we sort of see this with Simone Biles and the whole story that's been playing out since the Olympics with her mother.
Right.
I don't think she hates that woman exactly, but I also don't think she's interested in repairing that relationship Because I think for her, this is not an important person in the way you would expect. Society says this is still an important person to her. I think she has a mother in her emotions. I think her mother is her grandmother, her biological grandmother, but that's who's gone with her to practice. That's who she remembers taking care of her when she was sick. That's who made the snacks, whatever. That's her mom. And I get that is a complicated conversation. But when we say, well, absence makes the heart grow fonder, that's so you only get one mother. You should at least talk to your mother.
Right.
That is the person who gave birth to her. I don't think for her that's her mother. And I'm not at all knocking. I understand her mother had things going on, life, whatever. She had some addiction issues. I understand why Simone is important to this woman, for whom this is a child she birthed and lost. But I also understand that when we set up a situation where this person has not ever really been capable of being present, you don't miss what you never knew.
Exactly. Right. So the absence, maybe for the mom, some would say it did or didn't. We could only know if we asked her, but it didn't make her grow fonder. And in any attempt to intervene up until, we don't know, but now.
Because it's different, bro. You're dealing with a high-profile person, and that person, I don't know if you remember, but it's like a small moment where they were trying to build up LeBron James and his dad. You know what I'm saying?
I do remember that.
It was like a small moment, and then it just went away. You never heard about him ever since. And it's like one of those situations where you have such a high-profile person to the point where you want to believe in that rekindledness. But if you're a person of experience, of real life experience, for a fact that, like Mikki said, no. She had that mother figure in her life. Yeah, this is the person that gave birth to her. Yes. But when it comes to her looking for a mother, it's not really what society is talking about. That's just a story. She already has that mother figure in her grandmother. And yeah, it looks nice during the Olympics to have that type of story for someone with such a high profile. But in real life, that's probably not the case.
Yeah,
and 7 out of 10 times, that's probably not the case because
exactly. And that's what I meant.
The experience already without them.
That's what I meant by, you're right. And that's what I meant by the level of degrees at which you're removed from the recipient of the phrase is more how you're going to treat it, like dictionary.com's definition of it's just any person, place, or thing you should miss based off of the title that it holds. Likely
you had it there for a certain time and it's gone, you're going to miss it.
You're going to miss it. Where's that at versus I know this person, I actually care about this person. So you don't have a loving connection with your biological mother. There's no way that you're going to have a fondness for her. There's no way. So.
Right. The only time you miss that is when you see someone else interacting with their
and
biological.
You might think,
man, I'm missing out on something.
Something. Exactly. It's not necessarily the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. Maybe the absence of that makes the idea of it fonder, but she's not fonder of the person she don't know.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to say, there's a video, there's a black mom who makes a lot of stuff where she's showing how she washes her baby's hair. And you can tell that her and this baby are locked in. This baby loves her mom, right? She's doing her hair, she's styling it, just her whole thing. I have a complicated family situation, which is why I talk about my grandmother, right? That's who I talk about. I talk about my aunt, I talk about my grandmother. There's a situation. It's not that I don't know the person who gave birth to me. I did live with her for a few years. We have a level of communication. But she and I have never had the relationship in that video, right?
Right.
And there's no way to build that relationship later, right? There is no way to go back and roll back that clock.
Right.
And I think it does bother her that we are not closer, right? And I don't know what to say because all of my formative memories, we have different sets of memories. My formative memories are with different people.
Right.
And we don't have a negative relationship, but I think she perceives other people's relationships. And now at this stage of her life, she wants what she sees other people have.
Right.
But I'm an only child, so there was never another chance.
Right.
And you didn't do this thing with me, at least not in my formative memory, right?
Exactly.
And there was a lot of reasons. Again, I'm not putting her down, but even though the word mother is attached, the feelings are not the same thing.
Right.
And I think people automatically assume it has to be contentious, but sometimes what you build with your family or your loved one or your kid, it has a formative, there's a window, right? And so like with my oldest, whenever I get on my oldest child's nerves, I'm sure she's irritated with me, but then she gets over it because I'm also the person that when she had a fever, sat in the bathroom with her while she was in the bathtub to keep the fever down, giving her medicine and food and entertaining her for 4 hours while we tried to break this high-ass fever. You know what I mean? Like there's a different series of things. Yeah. I've been at your graduations. I've been at this. I've been at that. If you are not present in some people's lives, they don't have to hate you. I can say you can run into rage, but also you can't really then miss any of the other parts, regardless of what society says, even if the other person misses you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's where we're going to take these thoughts, these emotions. That's where we're going to, like, all these real life examples plus the history. Let's grade it. Let's appraise this phrase. Let's put it under the microscope. So, Mikki, we got a 3-part grading scale. We have the power grade, which is the impact when it's heard and said. The speed grade, is it eloquent? Does it flow off the tongue? And then we have our wild card, which is the guest or host preference. You are a guest, so it's however you want to deem it. So I'm going to toss it to 20 for the power grade. 20. A through F scale. A pluses and minuses are okay.
I don't know. Just taking my personal opinion out of it, I would say more of a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 1600s, 17th century, still standing the test of time. I feel like it's still used today. Maybe it's one of those situations people need to learn the origin and definition and kind of get a better glimpse of it. Then you can kind of really say it to its full capacity. But I feel like nowadays people are just saying it either to get away from someone or to console someone, and I feel like that really kind of takes away from its best potential. Like if you're telling me this because you're trying to because you personally wants to get away, then that takes away its full potential. If you're telling me this to try to help me deal with something, because that's from my own perspective, it takes away its full potential. So it's one of those situations where I give it a B plus just because of the oomph of it. But when it comes to longevity and how many people still use it to this day, it's definitely one of those higher ones. So yeah, B plus.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going to go with speed. Absence makes the heart grow fonder is not smooth to say. The smoothest thing about it is its essence and what it tries to imply. I think that to even add or support my stance is that Boosie's version is even more dope and more like it's a better version of it, but it has more words and more choppy and harder to say. So it's not the point. The point of this phrase is to be easy to say. The point of the phrase is, I'm thinking, is to evoke emotion. So it's not strong in the speed category. So I'm actually going to go C here, C minus actually, with speed. All right, Mikki, round us out. What you got?
My wild card puts it at a D. It's not a particularly useful phrase to say to people, right? It's one of my least favorite things to hear people say. It's a thing I don't really say myself. I think that it has a place, but I think it is not nuanced enough. And it doesn't recognize enough of the differences in relationships, right? Like whether we're talking romantic or, casual and personal, whatever, it doesn't really recognize anything. I feel like there are better phrases that express a similar sentiment, but are more well-rounded and also less irritating to hear in a bad situation. I'm giving it a D also in part because when things have gone awry and someone says that to you, I feel like what you actually want to do is bite their face off.
Yeah. Correct. Okay, it's them's fighting words.
Right.
Yeah. Don't console me. And you know what? I feel like the consoling part is what gives it like a shitty fucking thing. Like, don't console me. Like, I just feel like, yeah, bro. It's like, I know what you're going through, man.
Bad advice.
You know, it's just like, it's hard for me to say those things to people because I'm not going through it at the same time. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, absent like, so what have you been absent from that made your heart more fonder for what you've been absent to? Especially if it's something that is not coming back.
Right? Yeah. It feels like the kind of thing you say to someone when you don't know what to say. It doesn't feel like the thing that actually helps. It feels like the kind of thing you say when you're like, I mean, yeah, he left you when he took all the money and you just, out here bogus, but maybe this will work out. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe y'all can fix it. No. Well, that's not how that's going to work.
On my face. Well, we have one last thing to do before we get out of here. Mickey, we have
the Dictionary of Misinformation.
So what we're going to do is pass it to 20 for that.
All right. Now, Mickey, this is, it's become very popular. Not as popular as you with the crowd, you know what I'm saying? But this is one of the most, popular things. Everybody loves this. We use a dictionary that me and Mario found. Mario more than me, but we found it together because I was there. Well, it's called the Dictionary of Misinformation, and what it just does is it gives us a little bit more truthful or factual information about things we've been misinformed about. So we ask our guests to give us a letter from A through Z. X is already taken because we have some petty guests, but A through Z, and Mario is going to find a fact or some sort of information that possibly you've been misinformed about.
Let's go with Z.
Woo-hoo.
Z it is.
It is. I think this is the only other Z, so this will be quick. Yeah, Z is Dunzo. We're going to go Zen diet and vegetarianism. Many believers think that the Zen macrobiotic diet, which in its extreme form involves nothing but brown rice, is a safe way to adhere to the principles of vegetarianism. This is a dangerous myth, according to Dr. Gene Meyer, professor of nutrition at Harvard. Let's see. Dr. Meyer makes it plain that he is not scoring vegetarianism in general, as long as it allows for sufficient variety to provide protein, vitamins, and minerals. But the vegetarian who not only refuses to eat meat, but even draws the line at all animal byproducts, milk, eggs, whatever, which is veganism, as well as fish, and refuses to supplement his or her diet by vitamin pills because they are chemicals, is taking a very considerable risk, particularly with the reference to vitamin B. You also will be inadequate in calcium and may have a shortage of vitamin D as well. I mean,
damn.
You can be a vegan or vegetarian if you want. It's not me saying that. It is Dr. Walsh from Harvard. And
saying that it's not healthier. It's not
Here's
healthier.
the thing. I had a cousin that went through that brown rice phase, who ended up in the hospital. If you are going to go vegan or vegetarian, you're going to have to involve nuts. You're going to have to involve beans. You're going to have to involve a wide variety of vegetables. Mushrooms are a thing. You cannot do it and then cut out food groups. That waylays eating disorder and the ICU.
And the ICU.
And that's how we end this show.
Exactly. Thank y'all, Mickey. Thank you for joining us. 20 minutes or something, man.
Listen, if you haven't read Hood Feminism, go get it.
Why don't you have it?
Go get it. It wasn't just something that was good during COVID. It's still relevant. Man, the world is changing. Guys, girls, get with it. Learn how to adapt, evolve, grow. You can't just sit there and be the same person for their whole life. So just go out and do something different. Enjoy adventures. You know what I mean? Like, live your life. And, love.
Love. And if you do love, that remember that absence may. No, what I will say is that we are brought to you by the Underdog Podcast Network. You can find us on Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, ApraiseThePhrase.com, ApraiseThePhrase.com/shop for more things. We're definitely going to highlight more of Mikki's anything you got going on. Let us know. But also remember and never forget, folks, that value is in the eye of the appraiser. We'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah, like.